Hey guys, how you doing? Back again. I was supposed to do a video a couple of days ago, but I was pretty busy with a lot of things. But anyway, I want to talk about the quick little 1-2 today. I don't know if it's going to be quick, but I'm definitely going to touch a 1-2 topics. Okay, anyway, I want to talk about clients and motivation. I think those two things kind of go together. I've been doing it for quite a minute, and I've worked with a variety of different clients. Indie artists, major artists, record labels, and all that stuff, all the jazz. As time went, especially like in the past year, I realized, I didn't realize, I was kind of like, that was my whole purpose, my whole goal of kind of doing that. But I got to the point where I just don't want to work with certain individuals. It's not even anything personal, it's just I don't want to waste my time. And I feel like, a lot of engineers, a lot of younger guys do it strictly to, get some money and get whatever they want to get out of it. I think it's important because, the experience is definitely worth a lot in this game. But at some point, you just gotta kind of look in the mirror and be like, you know what, is it really worth doing all those things for people that are ungrateful? And when I say that thing, again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way. I just want to speak up my mind and kind of, whoever is watching this, to consider a couple of things as you work with people. Number one thing, money that you get is not always worth the stress and foolishness that you have to deal with. People that have that mentality that because they pay you, they give you money, they feel like they own you and you owe them. That's something that I've definitely encountered throughout my years. Not recently, but in the past, I definitely had those situations where I had to deal with the things that I didn't necessarily feel good about in a sense. Or it got to the point where I was just, I got the payment and I had to go back and forth and this and that. And it just felt like, I'm not really being appreciated for all the extra work that I've been doing. But anyway, I'm circling around a little bit. I just want to say that sometimes when you work with people, you have to consider where longevity-wise, where it's going to take you. Not only thinking about from a business perspective. And I guess, I think I've mentioned that in the other video. As an engineer, we almost have two options, or that's how I at least see it, where you're going to either be running a recording studio or you're going to be an engineer working on the things that you want to work. And I think I've mentioned that in the 669 video where, for me, for example, I don't want to run a recording studio simply because, number one, my mind is not in it and I don't enjoy the process of running the actual establishment as a studio. And I've done it for multiple years, but it kind of burned me down. Also the burnout, I also want to touch on that a little bit. But what I was trying to say when it comes to the studio and running things and all that. When you run a studio, you have to deal with a lot of things when it comes to, booking, it's scheduling and all that stuff. And that burns some of the energy, especially the creative energy. I feel like as much as engineering is a technical skill, there's also a lot of creativity behind it. And for me, I like to stay creative when I work. Sometimes when I have to do things that I don't want to do, it kind of burns out my creative energy. So by the end of the day, I feel like I'm just like, there's no emotion left in me, That's kind of a thing that you guys have to consider when you run your business in a certain way. And business, I want to talk about that. I think there's so many elements when it comes to business that have to be considered. And I feel like by the very dry corporate definition of business is you provide a service or sell a product and you get currency in exchange for that, right? Or some type of payment. But I feel like if you're a spiritual being or if you feel that your service is a little bit more than just a service, I feel like the way how you share your energy with people, it has to be very selective. And number one is because your work out there is going to have your name on it. So whoever you affiliate yourself with is this is what you're going to be affiliated with. And number two, as I mentioned before, some people are just not really worth investing our time in because why would you want to put a lot of time, a lot of effort into something that is not really going to be released to the world? That's one thing, or it's just not going to be up to the quality and the par that you really want it to be. And I feel like I'm 38 right now. It's been a minute, 38, yeah. So I definitely, at this point of my life, I don't want to just work with anything and any type of anything that comes my way. I need to feel the energy. I need to feel it. I need to be like, this is something that I want to invest in. Investing is one thing, but the person that I work with, the artist that I work with, I have to connect on the level where I'm like, I feel the energy. This is the guy that, the guy, girl that we can create something that has a specific level of quality that we can, bring to the world. And going back to the business side of things, I feel like I'm experimenting a couple of things recently. In the past year, like my whole goal was basically to remove myself from the way how I was doing things before and change it in a way where I'm a little bit more eccentric when it comes to my work and how I do things. It's not necessarily always good for a business. I definitely have to turn down quite few clients. It would hit me up and they wanted this, they wanted that. Whether it doesn't sound good or I just don't feel the vibe or whatever the case is, I feel like I'm kind of testing new grounds when it comes to that matter. However, I don't regret it, even though I might be cutting some of my revenue out of my, my personal revenue. I also feel that it gives me a little bit more of a mental clarity of who I am and what I want to be in the next 5 to 10 years. Mine is that obviously I want to do other things and add it up to my portfolio, not only music, but just life itself. I feel like I'm pretty smart guy in a way where I can handle other things, but I want to kind of build other things around what I do. But going back to what I was saying, dealing with certain people is going to burn you out mentally simply because they come with the heavy energy that is going to suck you in and is going to dry up everything that you have creatively. Even sometimes there's certain situations where you might work with somebody, and I personally didn't necessarily experience that, but I know a couple of people, couple of engineers, couple of producers that have worked with artists that dried them out. And what I'm saying by that is they literally took away their passion for music. So you also got to be very careful who you work with, because at the end of the day, if you allow another energy to suck you dry, it's something that you might regret at some point in your life where you're like, this guy really, or like this girl really took all of my energy away. And I guess it kind of comes down to everything, not only music. It comes down to relationships, business relationships and other things. But that's kind of a thing that I definitely wanted to, talk about, or just kind of, speak up my mind. We as engineers especially, we can't let other people bully us around, because at the end of the day, obviously there's a competition, everybody's doing this and that. But if you know your worth, you have to know how to present your skills in a way where the artist is going to understand what you bring to the table and where you can take the project that they want you to work on, whether it's a project or a song. I think that skill set is very important. I'm kind of circling around, because when I do those videos, I kind of speak up my mind. I need to be a little bit more organized. I got to write things down so I don't go back and forth. But it's a learning process. I'm enjoying it, and I enjoy trying to become a new version of myself that, I've been trying to do for. But going back to what I was saying, I think I've definitely dealt with the situations in my career where I have to invest my time into meetings and phone calls and text messages and going through the files and going through this and going through that, going through all those things that I don't charge people for those things. So I'm like, if I'm preparing the project, I'm not going to be like, give me money right away and I'll prepare it. Maybe I should, but I'm not doing that. Or at least I wasn't doing it. But then I do all those things and everything just takes forever. Always excuse, always something, always this, always that. And it just gets to the point where it gets annoying. Certain people that hit you up or hit me up, they're like, hey, Dad, how you doing? We have a quick conversation. I want this, I want that. I want my song mix, I want my project, this and that. Takes 3 days, 4 days, everything is good to go. Everything is booming, files are getting sent, payment is being done, everything is in place. I love that. Simple thing, no complications. And then there's, certain guys that everything just takes forever. This and that, and the whole process just becomes like a tedious, I don't even know if it's a challenge, but it's just like tedious process that takes away the energy even want to approach the project. When I get something, when I get demos, and I'm like, this is cool. I want to get to it. I don't want it to marinate in me too much, because I want to be fresh with the ideas that I'm doing. If I gotta wait for so long, it's just like it becomes less and less interesting. And sometimes it's because I get other projects that I work on, and they, just fill up my other space in my schedule. So it's like I just have to focus on what is in front of me at the time. So this is one of those topics that we don't always discuss, or we don't talk about it enough as engineers. I think preserving your energy, saving your energy, and putting it towards something that is going to take you to the next level and is going to put your brand in a better place, put your name in a better place. Sometimes it's worth making a little bit less money and dealing with all the nonsense to wait until, you know, certain time comes. And I think the time will come, because just working with anyone just to get a quick buck, it's not always the greatest approach. And again, I think if you're a younger engineer, or you're just starting your thing, it's definitely a good thing to do. Get some money, get some experience, 100%. But again, at some point, you just have to ask yourself whether you want to do it or no. I think in my own experience, especially when I was younger, earlier, like I was definitely working on a lot of stuff. I had times when I had like 4, 5, 6 sessions a day, and just, you know, constantly running through songs, artists, and this and that. And again, money is good. Yes, on the business side, you can't really complain. You have a lot of clients, but I feel like on the back end of where I was and how I was feeling, it was just taking away my spirit, if that makes sense. It just like, I got the money, but other than the money, I don't have anything else that really makes me feel good about you know, the whole thing. And I feel like maybe it's because I also have goals and I have aspirations as an engineer, and that's kind of the main thing that I want to really focus on: mixing and mastering and just giving it the sonic boom. I don't know if it's a sonic boom, but like the sonic expectations that I hear in my head, and that's what I'm really, you know, that's what I'm really focused on. That's just a quick one too. For the next video, I'm gonna be a little bit more prepared. I gotta stop doing things just spontaneously out of top of my head, because I'm freestyling a lot of these videos. I gotta have things written down a little bit. But again, look, I'm working on it one by one. If you guys have any comments that you wanna share with, just put them down in the comments. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about what I just said. Whether it's something that I'm just tripping about, or do I make sense? Because in my head, I make sense. But again, as I said before, business is business, which makes sense. And I guess the main priority of business is obviously to make money. But I guess I'm just a spiritual being where I feel that money is going to come regardless. But sometimes you just got to, you know, preserve your energy and put it somewhere else. But on the other note, it's been an interesting week. I finally was able to get the mics plugged into the camera, because I was an idiot and I was plugging it into the headphone out instead of the microphone. I don't know what was wrong with me, but again, I just got a camera, so I still was trying to figure it out. But anyway, that's fixed up. And number 2, which is pretty cool, I've won, well, I would say like this, I don't want to say I won Juno, because it's not like I won Juno, but one of the projects that I've worked on won Juno, so I guess I won Juno by affiliation. I did a couple of, I was a recording engineer on, I believe, 7 songs, maybe 8, something like that, for Snotty Rest Kids. Shout out to these guys. I ran like a camp with them, I think it was December last year. Not 24, it was 23, for like a couple of days. I recorded a couple of songs, and I never really thought about it anyway, anything, you know, I just did what I always do. I went to, was it at Sony? Yeah, it was at Sony. Ran the camp, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, they won. So I guess, you know, affiliation wise, because I've worked on the project that won the Juno, I got the accolade to my name, which is cool. Nothing too crazy. I mean, I guess it's kind of crazy, but you know, my goal is always to have a Juno for the project that I like mix. That's, you know, that would be a goal of mine, but that's gonna come one by one. You know, I gotta take things one by one. But anyway, I think projects that I've worked on got nominated, I think 3 times or 4 times before. So this is my first win, which is cool. But you know, I just wanted to share it with you guys, and I will see you next time. I'll be a little bit more prepared, but other than that, I want to tell you that this Sunday we have another thing coming up. Me and Derek, we're gonna be starting somewhat of a podcast. It's gonna be called Behind the Console. Hopefully it's not too much of a corny name, but I guess we decided the name is gonna be, you know, that's the best name that works with what we want it to be. Obviously, it's going to be mainly about engineering, where this channel is about kind of a little bit of everything. Elections are coming soon time, so I'm going to talk about it too, but you know, down the line. But anyway, I will see you soon again. Hopefully I can do it more often. And again, as I'm saying, I'm a little bit more spontaneous when it comes to those things, but I finally was able to, you know, get my mind in the right place, shoot the video today real quick, talk a little 1-2. Yeah, next time I'll talk about something else. Anyway, you guys have a great one. Subscribe and comment, because I'm trying to grow this channel. I watch a lot of YouTube. Actually, I don't even watch TV. All I do is watch YouTube, and I watch a lot of guys that have their YouTube channels. Shout outs to everybody. I'm not even gonna mention who I watch, but you know, I understand the grind, and I see how these guys are doing it, and I want to be a part of that, because I think there's a lot of knowledge that I can share with the world, and if I just channel it the right way, it might help some people, and it might change some people's minds and ideas, you know. I hope what I said makes sense. And again, I'm not trying to diss anybody when it comes to the clients or people that hit me up, and you know, we're trying to work and all, but as I'm saying, protect your energy, make sure that your head is in the right space, and never give up, keep going, and things are gonna be good. Anyway, you guys enjoy. Till next time.